Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a king who was known for his great wealth and power. Despite his riches and status, the king was unhappy and discontented with his life. He was always searching for something more, something that would bring him lasting happiness and peace. One day, the king heard about a wise man who lived in nearby villages. This man was said to have achieved great enlightenment and was known for his wisdom and teachings. The king decided to visit this man to see if he could help him find the peace and contentment he was seeking. When the king arrived at the wise man's home, he was greeted warmly and invited inside. The wise man listened patiently as the king shared his troubles and his search for happiness. The wise man then shared a story with the king, a story that would change his life forever. The story goes here. There was once a man who was lost in the desert. The wise man began. He wandered for days without food and water, and he began to fear for his life. Just when he thought he would die, he saw a tree in the distance. He was overjoyed and ran towards the tree, hoping to find shelter and water. When he reached the tree, he found that it was a mirage. There was no tree, no water, nothing but sand and heat. The man was devastated and he collapsed on the ground, ready to give up. But when he noticed something in the sand, it was a small, shiny object, and as he picked it up, he realized it was a diamond. This diamond was more valuable than anything he had ever seen, and he knew that he would sell it for a great price. The man's spirits lifted, and he began to walk towards civilization, clutching the diamond tightly in his hand. He walked for days, and finally he reached a town. He found a merchant who was willing to buy the diamond for a large sum of money. The man was overjoyed. He had found the diamond and it had brought him great wealth and happiness. But then he realized something. He had been lost in the desert and he had almost died. The diamond had saved him, but it had not brought him peace or contentment. He knew that he needed to find something more, something that would bring him true happiness and fulfillment. The wise man paused and looked at the king. The man in the story is like you, Your Majesty. You have all the wealth and power in the world, but you are still searching for something more. You are like the man in the desert, searching for a mirage that will never bring you lasting peace and contentment. The true happiness and contentment that you seek can only be found within yourself. It is not in the external world, but within your mind and heart. You must learn to let go of your attachments to wealth and power and find joy in the present moment. Only then you will find true happiness. The king listened to the wise man's words and was deeply moved. He realized that he had been searching for happiness in all the wrong places and that he needed to change his ways. He began to practice meditation, mindfulness, and he learned to let go of his attachments to wealth and power. He found that he was happier and more content than he had ever been before. Years passed and the king grew old. When he felt that his time was near, he called the wise man to his side. Thank you for showing me the path to true happiness, the king said to the wise man. I have found peace, contentment in my life, and I am ready to leave this world knowing that I have lived a fulfilling life. This man smiled at and thanking and said, You have achieved great wisdom and understanding, Your Majesty. You have found the true treasure and the diamond within yourself, and you have lived a life of purpose and meaning. The king passed away peacefully, and the wise man continued to share his teachings with others. His message of inner peace and contentment spread throughout the land, and many people were inspired by his words and were able to find happiness and fulfillment in their own lives. And so, the story of the king and the wise man reminds us that true happiness cannot be found in the external things, but it is within us. We must learn to let go of our attachments and find joy in the present moment. By cultivating mindfulness and practicing meditation, we can learn to connect with our inner selves, find the peace and contentment that we seek. The teachings of Gautam Buddha are often focused on importance of self-awareness and the cultivation of inner peace. This story is a powerful reminder of these teachings, and it illustrates how they can be applied to our daily lives. In our fast-paced and materialistic world, it can be easy to find and get caught up in the pursuit of external things. We often believe that wealth, power, and status will bring us happiness and fulfillment. However, as the story of the king and the wise man shows us, this is not the case. True happiness and contentment can only be found within ourselves. We must learn to let go of our attachments to external things and find joy in the present moment. By practicing meditation and mindfulness, we can connect with our inner selves and find the peace and contentment that we seek. Thank you.